you're here. Now that you've been outfitted with the internal neuroamp, it's time to put that tech to work. We're sending you into Infinity Ltd. Lucas Drexler is about to learn exactly why you don't steal from Ryujin. And wish he shall. Every day. All right. Yuko has provided a layout of Infinity Ltd. You have two options for this assignment. We'll be providing you with the means for both. Option A, you gain entry through their maintenance access on the roof. Option B, we give you an assigned identity and arrange a meeting for you. Yes, the less people you need to interact with, the better. Ideally, none at all. Now, depending on your preference, you'll either find yourself in the maintenance hallway or the marketing department. From there, you have 3 targets. First, you have Lucas Drexler's computer, located in his office on the executive floor. Second is Faye Sengsavan's computer, in research and development. And third, you need to obtain the prototype they are working on, also in R&D.
As you can see, you've several floors to traverse, so I hope you're prepared for an adventure.
That's what we're counting on. Now, I had Ularu create a program that you need to run on both Lucas and Faye's computers. I'll let her explain the details.
You see, once we expose Infinity Ltd., all of their data is going to come under intense scrutiny. We only want the public to know about their mercenary hires and unauthorized human trials, but Project Dominion needs to remain confidential. I've created an overseer program that will gather all the evidence we need, and at the same time delete anything relating to Ryujin and the internal neuroamp. Exactly. And what the public doesn't know doesn't hurt them. Now, we don't want to mess on this one. A body count will only distract from what we're trying to accomplish here. Simon Ryujin provided some useful info on how to evacuate civilians from the building. I'm sure you remember him from Sidonia. Infinity's maintenance crew is understaffed. It's only a matter of time before pressure gauges go unchecked and they have a massive issue on their hands. Once that pressure becomes too much, every floor in the building is going to suffer from gas leaks, setting off an automated alarm to evacuate the building. Simon was able to get a passcode for you to access their system's computer, so you can force the heating system to fail. My thoughts exactly. We're also issuing you an operative suit. It should help reduce their ability to detect you. These suits are typically reserved for the senior ranks, but we want to reduce as much risk as possible. Well, you're still here, so apparently you didn't need it that bad.
Once you've run the Overseer program and obtained the prototype, your final step is to deliver the slate to David Barron at the SSNN field office. If he asks questions, feel free to give him just enough information to pique his interest, but no mention of Ryujin or who you are. SSNN is used to anonymous tips. They'll do whatever verifications they deem necessary on their own to confirm the story. It certainly will, and we'll have front row seats. So, any final questions before you go? Good luck, and be sure to report directly back to me when you return.
Come with me. I have everything you need for this assignment in my office.
Don't cause any trouble.
as much as I hate to admit it, Masako's plan is fairly straightforward and effective. Believe it or not, Masako did a brief stint in operations. It was before my time, of course, but I heard she was quite the technician. It's not like she casually moved through the ranks either, and when it came to being CEO, she seized that position. Ask her about it sometime. Well, while you still can. I'm only thinking it's a shame I can't keep her on as my own replacement. In an ideal world, Imogene would at least still be around. But the downside of making a move like this is that those... Lucky for you, my side of the plan doesn't involve any extra legwork on your end. The program that Masako had me write will be doing all the heavy lifting. While it's downloading the evidence needed, it will also be interspersing an array of files that will say Masako was heavily involved. It'll ruin her career. The public's outrage and demand for her job will be enough to sway even Dalton himself. Now here's everything you need. Simon's passcode, your operative suit, the Overseer program, and your cover identity. Your cover ID card is encoded with roof entry and elevator access, so that's your ticket in, either way. Don't screw this up. Skylar Lumen?
Don't wander into any restricted areas.
I look forward to listening to SSNN when you return. It's not obvious yet? With the internal neuroamp, you can manipulate others anyway. If there's a key card, make someone hand it over. Faye is the head of Infinity Ltd's research. She's notorious for her lack of morale. You should ask Vina about...
non-essential personnel must evacuate the building. Please find the nearest exit and contact emergency services.
you ever find yourself with a hot lead, we will do our best to protect your anonymity. Can I help you? Well, I'll be the judge of that. What's this so-called story about? Corporate greed claims victims once more. And you have evidence to support this claim. Good. The less investigation we need to put into this, the faster I can prepare the broadcast. I don't suppose you want to tell me how you got this evidence. I figured as much. Is there at least a name I can cite as my source? Why am I not surprised? As long as the evidence is adequate and verifiable, I expect it'll be aired within the hour, if not sooner.
I've yet to hear anything of note on SSNN. Let's hear your report. As long as it's good news, I suppose I can overlook your irritation. And how did the neuroamp perform? I thought it would be. So now it's just a waiting game for SSNN to break the news. Once the story airs, we have another board meeting scheduled to decide how to handle Infinity. Go ahead, Maeve.
The SSNN broadcast has started. Shall I patch it through?
Yes, thank you.
Infinity Ltd. and Lucas Drexler are currently under investigation for a number of violations, including murder for hire, unauthorized human trials, and corporate theft. Authorities representing the UC and the Freestar Collective have been dispatched to a consolidated mining station and the clinic. Both locations are believed to hold numerous victims. Drexler's motivation appears to be an attempt to launch a new product based off stolen information from a competitor. The details on the project itself have yet to be confirmed, but it's believed that Masako Imada, CEO of Ryujin Industries, may be involved. A series of communications between Drexler and Imada were discovered, where she encouraged Drexler to ignore approval guidelines for human trials. This has been David Barret for SSNN.
Impossible. You set me up. I see. So Ularu's the one who put you up to this. Any CEO can be aggressive. The real question is how strategic they are. Assuming I know exactly how this situation came about, I have only a few things. Should Ularu run this company, the reputation of Ryujin Industries will change dramatically. Her unchecked tactics will be heavy-handed, involving murder without question of both the innocent and the guilty. Ryujin may gain financial success, but the percentage is not worth the real cost. But she's... It's true. Ularu's always put Ryujin first, and I can't argue that. Even with her aggressive tactics, she'll keep Ryujin at the top for decades to come. I encourage you to speak to the board members. We'll be having the meeting shortly to determine the fate of Infinity Ltd. And now I imagine myself as CEO. We must receive at least 50% of the vote. I trust you'll be able to sway them to make the right decisions.
I've got my eye on you.
I take it Masako wasn't as pleased to hear the SSNN broadcasts as she thought she'd be? Of course she didn't. And now she's going to have some serious regrets about holding this upcoming board meeting. Which brings me back to you. Masako wants us to acquire Infinity Ltd, which is obviously not on my list of things to do. I need you to persuade the board members otherwise, and make sure they're on our side when I move to vote Masako out. You don't think I've weighed those possibilities? Actually, perhaps I was a little overzealous. Being able to pick and choose the talent as I see fit does have plenty of benefits, and I could hold the garnered good faith over Viv for years to come. All right, I'm convinced. But if this turns into a mistake, I'm holding you accountable. Just get the others on board. The internal neuroamp essentially guarantees success. As long as you get the results I'm looking for, I don't care how you do it. With Masako out of the way and the internal neuroamp finally ready for production, Ryujin Industries will be set for life. Or at least until I retire. Exactly. And all you need to do is use it to get the board on the winning side.
Don't cause any trouble.
This meeting should prove to be very interesting, especially after that bomb. I assume Masako briefed you on her preferred outcome. That blasted tech. If it were up to me, I'd have shut down Project Dominion a long time ago. I knew it was a grave security risk. I suppose you're right. As long as I'm fully aware of the risks, I can properly account for them. My first priority will be to get the board and all security members set up with... Plus, if we vote to acquire Infinity Ltd, we're about to add a significant workload onto my team. The last thing I want to deal with are any more incidents this new neuroamp might cause. I imagine we're looking at months of work. Infinity Ltd is obviously not known for this. I only hope that Masako and the others will be patient with the process. You would side against her after everything we've been through? I can't shake this feeling that I too have doubts. Perhaps if you present your argument. Not that it was a huge concern, but it... As much as it pains me to admit it, your words echo a lot of truth. I owe Masako a great debt for my success in life. It pains me to admit. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need...
If only there were more hours in the day. Well, if it isn't my favorite operative. You heard correct. I've every reason to believe that Infinity Ltd is the Pandora's box of corp... All right, I could use the entertainment. You can't possibly... Why else do you think my department... I suppose I might be overreacting a little. I'm starting to understand what you're saying. Huh. Well, what do you know? Talent like yours belongs in the courtroom. Are you trying to add to my stress right now? First off, if I find out you used that device on me. Second, that tech is one major human rights violation. I'll do whatever I can to make sure it's either severely... In an ideal situation, yes. And I suppose creating that ideal situation is within my power. Now you've made it sound like a proper challenge that I can't help but accept. Masako is lucky to have you at her disposal, you know? You may be the greatest asset, aside from the internal neuroamp, that Ryujin has. You aren't the first person to say that. There's definitely something to be said for Ularu. She's ruthless in ways that Masako isn't, and ruthlessness may be just what we need if we're to stay ahead of the competition, especially after this mess with Infinity. This exchange has been surprisingly insightful, but now I really do need to get...
Don't tell me. Masako wants to make sure I'm still on her side after SSNN dropped this media bomb on us? Well, I was on Masako's until this news dropped. Now that she's been tied to Lucas, buying up Infinity Ltd only reinforces the narrative. It's gonna be a hard sell to make this look good. Aren't you the flatterer? You're right, of course. I've certainly handled worse. Besides, I haven't had a good challenge like this in a while. All right, I suppose you've earned the right to voice your opinion after everything you've done, qualified or not. So let's hear it. Now that's a delicate subject. But our competition really is upping their game. If we want to survive the coming onslaught, you're right. Ularu would be the logical choice. And what's your second point to consider? You're preaching to the choir. I have every intention of using it to our full advantage. In fact, I already have an entire marketing campaign in the works, and ready to pitch once it's officially approved. Well, it seems your talents really do stretch beyond just being an operative. Good talk.
I hope you're enjoying your new neuroamp. And how's my favorite patient doing? That's great. I'd say Project Dominion is ready for legitimate human trials in that case. One step closer to seeing market approval. So, tell me... I'd be the next Ray DeCaris, my childhood hero and mentor. How amazing would that be? DeMarcus, eat your heart out. Don't tell him I said that. He knows I love and respect him. So the next question is, what will the fate of Infinity L... Exactly. Not that I want to gloat over it. Maybe just a little. Okay, so DeMarcus and I have really been looking forward to it, so fingers crossed this deal goes through. I know Masako will be pushing for the acquisition. I still can't get over everything that's happening, but you're right. Maybe a change of leadership is needed, and I have no doubt that Ularu would keep my department. Well, this has certainly been the most... All we can do now is look for...
I'm glad we're making an effort in our appearance today. Just the person I wanted to see. Good. I prefer first-hand feedback when available. You've had the chance to encounter members of Infinity LTD throughout your assignments here. Do you think they're worth redemption? Saving the jobs of thousands is altruistic, which is not a luxury corporations have. It's a financial burden. It would be a huge undertaking on my... This is true. Infinity never had the financial resources to match our salary offers. Getting what few capable employees they have at half the salary we typically pay here could have major payoffs in the long run. Next question. What are your thoughts on SSNN's reports that Masako... A good, neutral answer. One that Alexis would be proud of. I find it difficult to believe that our CEO was truthfully involved in such endeavor. I look forward to seeing what Alexis can learn about this. Yes, Ulara would be a very capable CEO. Her loyalty to Ryujin is unmatched. I appreciate the insight. I suppose I should ask if there's anything I can do for you. It's the next big step for Ryujin Industries. Financially, it'll keep us secure for years to come. There's no doubt it's out. This has been rather enlightening for me. I appreciate the time.
To start this meeting, let me just say that the SSNN allegations are completely false.
And you expect us to just believe that?
If they're false, how did this happen?
I'll be ordering a full investigation, but I have my suspicions, which I'll address once this meeting has concluded. Until then, I'm still CEO, and we'll be moving forward with this meeting to acquire Infinity LTD.
Do you really think we want a potential criminal? One suspected of being the actual mole here, leading a crucial meeting like this? In fact, I propose we remove Masako as CEO altogether, and nominate myself to take her place.
You can't be serious.
As much as it pains me to say it, I second the motion. My apologies, Masako, but we've failed here. Perhaps new leadership is what's needed moving forward.
Dalton, you can't seriously believe that.
Agreed. I initially believed we could pull through this, but I think a fresh perspective is necessary to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Any arguments against?
Yes, on the fact that I'm innocent and completely capable of doing my job.
Let's leave it up to the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
I had a feeling this would go my way.
Traitors. All of you.
Well, there you have it. And now, since you're no longer a part of this board, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
This isn't over. To think I had high hopes for you.
Now, Masako. Don't go taking out your shortcomings on our operative here.
Enough with your attitude, Ularu. I don't care what anyone says or what the evidence is. I know you're behind this. And I'll prove it, no matter how long it takes.
Good thing you're going to have plenty of time on your hands, then. Security. Why don't you escort Masako to her office? I'm sure law enforcement will be looking for her soon anyway. Now, let's get back to business. So, any arguments for the acquisition?
This acquisition is sure to have its financial pitfalls, but as a wise person pointed out, it would have major payoffs in the future. Plus, with their current situation, Infinity Ltd will be more affordable than ever.
Legal ramifications are a certainty, but the benefits far outweigh the disadvantages.
Arguments against? None? All right. All in favor of acquiring Infinity Ltd?
Aye.
Excellent. Not bad for my first meeting. Does anyone have anything else to bring to the table before we break? I almost hate to ask now, but are there any other matters to bring forth? No? Good. Meeting adjourned.
So much work to do.
I'm glad we're making an effort in our
No
appearance.
more Masako as CEO. Well done. Of course, we're now acquiring Infinity Ltd. But I'll leave that mess for the others to handle. You've proven yourself to be quite the asset here at Ryujin. For me especially. I suppose it is. Enjoy it while it lasts. It takes guts for someone in your position to go up against the CEO. And Masako never saw it coming. Imogene's instincts were right about you. It's a shame I had to sacrifice her. Now, as promised, I have your bonus. I'm sure you'll find it adequate for all you've done. I'm also promoting you to senior operative. You've certainly proven yourself capable enough. As a senior op, you now have a personal office, mission board access, and you're free to work on your own time. The mission board will hold any available assignments, although I may still notify you should I require your more specific talents. Oh, and not that it ever really applied, but no more docks in pay. I only care about the end result, not the methods. Any questions? In that case, I suggest you get familiar with the mission board before you leave today. I'll admit, you helped me pull off a pretty big win. So, if you want to take some time off, I get. Just don't forget, you still have a job.
That meeting certainly didn't go as expected.
I'm sure digging through Infinity Ltd's financials is going to be quite the emotional journey.
something you need?
Keep out of my way, and I'll keep out of yours.